producer in Ukraine. Building bridge, cultivating success, SALIC today, what we offer to our partners, global expertise, strategic vision, and long-term investor to ensure both of us will reach to the desired state that we are looking for. Finally, SALIC is a partner with the nation-scale capability building, collaborating on bridging gaps in the local agri-food sector, enhancing resilience of local supply chain. And today, we are evolving again from investor to enabler, from securing food to cultivating opportunities. I wish that you enjoyed the past 15 minutes, and we will be more than happy to have you in our booth. If you are looking for more information, more elaboration, please be our guest there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdulaziz, for your brilliant presentation. May we kindly invite you in the middle of the stage so that we can present your trophy. Now let us move on to the second chapter of our program, the International Guest Address. Our international guest today is Mrs. Aisha Ali Al-Shamsi, Director of Data and AI at the Abu Dhabi Agriculture and Food Safety Authority. In her role, she focuses on aligning AI-driven initiatives with strategic priorities, building resilient and data-enabled agri-food systems. She is truly the most qualified person to share with us a case study on AI and data-driven pathways for Abu Dhabi's food security. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming on stage Mrs. Aisha Ali Al-Shamsi.
Thank you very much. السلام عليكم جميعا. كل الشكر والتقدير لوزارة الزراعة والبيئة والمياه لدعوتي لهذا المؤتمر. أختكم عايشة نايل الشامسي من هيئة أبو ظبي للزراعة والسلامة الغذائية أقدم لكم اليوم تجربة حكومة أبو ظبي في تعزيز منظومة الأمن الغذائي باستخدام الذكاء الاصطناعي. طبعا من أقوال القائد الشيخ محمد بن زايد أن عملية توفير الغذاء في دولة الإمارات مستدامة والأمن الغذائي أولوية قصوى بالنسبة للدولة. طبعا هذا أقوال القائد سمو الشيخ محمد بن زايد، وكذلك كانت له كلمة مميزة وهي في فترة البانديميك اللي صارت في كورونا: الغذاء والدواء خط أحمر. طبعا وفق السياق العالمي ووفق التداعيات اللي موجودة معانا على مستوى العالم في منظومة الأمن الغذائي، هناك العديد من الدول والأفراد الذين يعانون من الجوع المزمن. 783 مليون حول العالم يعانون من الجوع المزمن. مؤشرات الأمن الغذائي أكدت كذلك أن في عدد 285 أو 258 مليون يواجهون نقصاً حاداً في الغذاء على مستوى العالم. أيضاً 130 مليون مهددون بانعدام الأمن الغذائي. لو بنلاحظ الخريطة اللي موجودة جنبنا هني بنلاقي أن الدول المغطاة باللون الأحمر هي دول تعاني من ضعف الأمن الغذائي وفق مؤشرات الأمن الغذائي العالمية، ونلاحظ أن هذه الدول تعاني من اضطرابات سياسية وجيوسياسية بالإضافة إلى بعض المشاكل الاقتصادية أو الزراعية أو شح أو ندرة المياه. طبعا أن احنا في هيئة أبو ظبي للزراعة ووفق رؤية حكومة أبو ظبي الريادي في مجال الأمن الغذائي، طبعا رؤية أبو ظبي تدعم بشكل واضح من قبل القيادة الحكيمة بمنظومة الأمن الغذائي في الدولة في تحقيق الاستقرار والازدهار. أيضا رؤية حكومة أبو ظبي ترسخ على منظومة الأمن الغذائي لدولة الإمارات، مما يدفعها لأن تتصدر مصاف الدول على مستوى العالم. طبعا الذراع التشغيلي والتشريعي والتنفيذي لمنظومة الأمن الغذائي في إمارة أبو ظبي متمثلة في هيئة أبو ظبي للزراعة والسلامة الغذائية، حيث طورنا في هيئة أبو ظبي استراتيجية متكاملة مع كل الجهات الحكومية في إمارة أبو ظبي وجميع الإمارات، متكاملة لتحقيق الريادة العالمية في الأمن الغذائي. من خلالها عملنا على إعادة هيكلية القطاع الزراعي المستدام وتحويله من قطاع تقليدي إلى قطاع متقدم. كذلك عملنا على تقليل الضغط على الموارد الطبيعية والمائية، ونحن طبعا في منطقتنا تعيش في شح من المياه. كذلك ضمننا وجود دخل عادل للمزارعين من خلال الدعم الحكومي للمزارعين، وكذلك تنشيط مزارعهم بحيث يكونوا قادرين على أنهم يشيلون أنفسهم في منظومة الزراعة. كذلك التركيز على المنتجات التي تمتلك فيها أبو ظبي ميزة تنافسية، وأيضا نركز بشكل دائم ومستدام على تحسين جودة المنتج وسلامته لتحقيق أعلى مستويات الأمن الغذائي. طبعا في أي دولة، وإحنا طبعا في منطقة أعتقد كلنا نعيش نفس التحديات، إحنا في أمور ساعدتنا على أن ننهض بهذا القطاع، كانت هي المحفزات الرئيسية. من المحفزات دعم الحوكمة والقيادة الرشيدة والتركيز الرئيسي من أعلى قمة في دولة الإمارات بملف الزراعة والأمن الغذائي. كذلك المبادرات التحفيزية وبرامج الدعم الحكومي للمزارعين والمربين والنحالين والمستثمرين في القطاع الزراعي. أيضا التقدم التكنولوجي والزراعة الذكية اللي هي صارت اليوم الهوت توبك في هذا المجال. كذلك ركزت إمارة أبو ظبي على جوائز التميز الزراعي، ورح نتكلم عنها بعد شوي إن شاء الله. أيضا حكومة أبو ظبي وحكومة دولة الإمارات ركزت على موضوع التقنيات الذكاء الاصطناعي والاستشعار واستخدامات إنترنت الأشياء، بالإضافة إلى الشراكات البحثية والعلمية. هذه كلها ساعدتنا للنهوض بالقطاع الزراعي. طبعا تحديات كلنا يعني نعيشها، مثل التغير المناخي وارتفاع درجات الحرارة، عندنا ندرة الموارد المائية وملوحة التربة، المحاولة في تقليل استنزاف المياه الجوفية، نحن منطقة تعيش فعلا شح في المياه، الاعتماد الكبير للأسف على الاستيراد المواد الغذائية من الخارج، وأيضا نتعرض لتقلبات الأسعار في السلع الغذائية والأعلاف. ولا نخفى عن موضوع الأمن الحيوي اللي هو عبارة عن تفشي الأمراض الزراعية والحيوانية، والتي لا بد من التصدي منها لحماية منظومة الأمن الغذائي. طبعا من أقوى التجارب التي عملت عليها هيئة أبو ظبي للزراعة تطوير منصة متكاملة لبيانات الزراعة والأمن الغذائي، أطلقنا عليها منصة حقل. هذه المنصة تشمل على 180 مؤشر مراقبة لحالة الأمن الغذائي في إمارة أبو ظبي، تغطي جميع البيانات المرتبطة بالإمارة محليا وإقليميا وعالميا، وفيها 7 نماذج تنبؤ ذكاء اصطناعي. طبعا توجد داخل هذه المنصة 150 لوحة معلومات تفاعلية لعرض البيانات الزراعية وحالة القطاع الزراعي والغذائي في إمارة أبو ظبي. طبعا لتطوير هذه المنصة نحن ما نقدر نستغني عن شركائنا في القطاع الخاص والحكومي، تم ربط 16 جهة حكومية وقطاع خاص على المنصة. طبعا المنصة مثل 360 فيو لجميع بيانات الزراعة، وتشمل الأمن الغذائي، الاستدامة الزراعية، الأمن الحيوي، الاستثمار الزراعي، أدوات التنبؤ، وطبعا عندنا البيانات المفتوحة والإحصاءات الرسمية اللي موجودة، ويمكن للجميع الوصول إلى موقع المنصة على هذا الرابط. طبعا المنصة الثانية اللي اشتغلنا عليها اللي هي منصة ونظام متابعة الصادرات والواردات الغذائية لإمارة أبو ظبي. طبعا هذه المنصة تم تطويرها لإدارة والتعامل مع جميع الشحنات الغذائية التي ترد إمارة أبو ظبي من جميع المنافذ البرية البحرية الجوية. وهذه المنصة تعمل على منظومة المخاطر، ويتم الرقابة على جميع المنتجات الغذائية التي تدخل إمارة أبو ظبي عن طريق هذه المنصة. طبعا المنصة تم تطويرها وتم إصدار قرار من سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد آل نهيان رئيس مجلس إدارة هيئة أبو ظبي للزراعة والسلامة الغذائية لإدارة هذه المنظومة. طبعا مثل ما تكلمنا تحتوي على مجموعة من 6 مواد أو 6 تصنيفات من المواد الغذائية، والمواد الغذائية هي مرتبة بحسب درجة خطورتها، ويتم تسيير الشحنات عن طريق أدوات ذكاء اصطناعي بحسب الهيستوريكال انفورميشن الخاصة بكل شحنة أو بالدولة الواردة منها، وبناء عليها يتم تسهيل عمليات الشحن وتمريرها داخل إمارة أبو ظبي. طبعا 100% نسبة الشحنات الغذائية التي تم الإفراج عنها في خلال 30 دقيقة، ونعمل الآن إلى تقليلها إلى 15 دقيقة. المنصة وفريق العمل الموجودين في المنافذ تعمل بشكل متواصل 24 ساعة على مدار الأسبوع لتقديم خدمات المنافذ والتخليص الشحنات على 3 مناوبات مستمرة. المنصة الريادية واللي منها حصلنا على جائزة السيفي أوورد اللي تم الإعلان عنها من فترة سابقة، خذنا الجائزة البرونزية كأفضل منتج مدعم بالذكاء الاصطناعي، اللي هي منصة تنويع مصادر الاستيراد للأغذية والأعلاف. تعتبر هذه المنصة من المنصات الريادية عالميا، تحوي على مجموعة كبيرة من الخوارزميات تصل إلى 17 خوارزمية مبنية على الذكاء الاصطناعي، تقوم بتقييم السيناريوهات بناء على 20 معيار من المخاطر السياسية، الجيوسياسية، البيئية، الأمنية للدول التي يتم استيراد الغذاء منها. هذه المنصة فيها 598 نوع بيانات تجارة لمنتجات غذائية والأعلاف، تحتوي على بيانات شملت 10 سنوات سابقة لأكثر من 100 دولة، والمنصة مربوطة ببيانات لايف مع الجمارك المحلية والاتحادية. المنصة تحتوي على 17 سيناريو مختلف لكل سلعة غذائية بحسب درجة خطورة هذه السلعة. لنفرض مثل ما حصل معنا في الفترة الأخيرة الأزمة اللي صارت ما بين إيران وإسرائيل، اضطرينا إلى أن نفكر بسيناريوهات مختلفة في حال إغلاق مضيق هرمز، أو في حال إغلاق باب المندب، أو في حال وقف الشحنات، أو لا سمح الله complete shutdown ما نقدر نستورد. المنصة هذه تعطيني من أي دولة أستورد، شو المنتج اللي أنا أستورده، كم تكلفة المنتج هذا، وهل أنا بحتاج إلى مبالغ إضافية أنا أضيفها أو غيرها من التكاليف. المنصة هذه فيها مجموعة من السيناريوهات وتم استخدامها السنة الماضية وإلى اليوم من قرارات رئيسية من أعلى سلطة في الدولة، وتمكنا من توفير أكثر من 400 مليون درهم من استخدام هذه المنصة في عام واحد. الآن نحن في المرحلة الثانية من تطوير هذه المنصة، وإن شاء الله راح نستعرض لكم في السنوات المقبلة مخرجات هذه المنصة أيضا. طبعا الهيئة لكي تكون متمكنة من تقديم أدوات ذكاء اصطناعي محوكمة وقادرة على إعطاء قرارات صائبة بدون انحياز، الهيئة حصلت على شهادة نظام إدارة الذكاء الاصطناعي الآيزو 42000، وهذا النظام مبني يعتبر أول معيار عالمي، وهيئة أبو ظبي للزراعة والسلامة الغذائية هي الأولى على مستوى حكومة أبو ظبي وحكومة دولة الإمارات في هذا المجال، والأولى على مستوى العالم في مجال الأمن الغذائي. طبعا المواصفة تعزز موثوقية مشاريع الذكاء الاصطناعي وتدعم التميز المؤسسي في المؤسسة، وكذلك ترسخ ريادة دولة الإمارات في هذا المجال. ليش قدرنا نتمكن من الحصول على هذه الشهادة في فترة قياسية قصيرة؟ كان هناك دعم واضح من القيادة العليا متمثل في سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد. الهيئة ملتزمة بمعايير 14 معيار دولي، وبالتالي احنا عندنا قدرة عالية من الامتثال. الهيئة لديها نظام حوكمة، وبالتالي أتى هذا النظام لتعزيز حوكمة الذكاء الاصطناعي. أيضا تمكنا من تدريب جميع الكوادر العاملة في الهيئة للحصول على هذه الشهادة، وأنا أحد الناس المتدربين وعندي شهادة اعتماد وتدقيق خارجي. المتابعة والتقييم لأنظمة الذكاء الاصطناعي ومراقبة جودتها ودقتها وصحة نتائجها. الهيئة أيضا عندها منظومة إدارة مخاطر عالمية، وبالتالي تمكنا من الحصول على هذه الشهادة. وكذلك هذه الشهادة تعزز شفافية ومصداقية ومسؤولية القرارات الصادرة. أنا ما راح أطول، just I need 3 minutes. طبعا لبناء هذا الملف والحصول على هالشهادة، الهيئة لديها استراتيجية للبيانات والذكاء الاصطناعي، وبثقة عالية من القيادة أن أقود هذا الملف لتعزيز صناعة القرار، لتعزيز حوكمة البيانات، لتعزيز نموذج التشغيل وتبني تقنيات الزراعة. طبعا هناك مجموعة من الأهداف الاستراتيجية تندرج تحت هذه الاستراتيجية. مجموعة من المشاريع اللي عملنا عليها وأدوات الذكاء الاصطناعي اللي عملنا عليها: تحسين مؤشر الأمن الغذائي العالمي، هذا انتهينا منه. عندنا أداة الاحتساب الاحتياطي من المخزون الاستراتيجي، وهناك مشاريع نعمل عليها وإن شاء الله راح نطلقها في الأيام القادمة. من المبادرات المميزة جدا واللي كانت بتركيز من سمو الشيخ منصور بن زايد، أطلقنا جائزة الشيخ منصور بن زايد للتميز الزراعي والابتكار الزراعي، طبعا برعاية كريمة من سموه. الجائزة هذه قيمتها المالية 10 ملايين درهم هذه السنة. طوال السنوات الماضية نحن دخلنا في الدورة الرابعة، 26 مليون درهم استحقها الفائزون. كذلك فيها 4 فئات رئيسية لكل العاملين في القطاع الزراعي والمزارعين، فيها 13 فئة فرعية لتشمل جميع المشاركين في القطاع الزراعي، وأيضا 77 مسابقات مصاحبة موجودة ضمن مهرجان الشيخ زايد في الوثبة. تجربتنا هني بس لنريكم مدى التقدم أو خبرة حكومة أبو ظبي في هذا المجال، ودعم القيادة والرؤية الاستراتيجية لهذا المجال، أهمية اتخاذ نهج تكاملي وشمولي وتوظيف تقنيات والتكنولوجيا البيانات، وضرورة الاهتمام بالعنصر البشري سواء كان في المجال أو في القطاع الزراعي. أخيراً كلمة للشيخ محمد بن زايد: نؤمن بأن الابتكار هو الطريق لإيجاد أي حلول فاعلة في القضايا الحيوية التي تتصل بالأولويات التنموية الوطنية، وفي مقدمتها الزراعة والأمن الغذائي. شكرا جزيلا على استماعكم، وأعتذر على الإطالة.
Thank you, Mrs. Aisha, for your brilliant and engaging presentation. May we now call you on stage, in the middle of the stage, so we can present the trophy. Now we move on to the next part of the session. May I now call on Dr. James Morgan to present the next panel discussion. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me again this year at Study Agriculture. I'd like to ask the panelists to please come up to the stage, and if you could sit next to your name. So next to me will be Dr. Issam, and welcome again this year. It's lovely to have you back. And then everybody, if you just go down the row and take a seat. Please take a seat. Thank you very much. We're running a little bit behind time, so we need to get a move on. Thank you. Gentlemen, if you could take your seats, please. Are we missing somebody? Okay, that speaker can join us at the when he arrives. No, we have everybody. Yeah, perfect. Just one thing. Could you speak quite closely to the microphone so that your voice is being properly heard? I think these are being recorded for YouTube and for the ministry. So what I'd like to do in the beginning is if you could just take a minute to introduce yourself to the audience, tell them who you are, where you're from.
Okay. My name is Isam Jamia. I'm from SABIC Agri-Nutrients. I'm a research fellow in the Technology and Innovation Center at SABIC Agri-Nutrients. My background is chemistry. I have 35 years of experience.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Majid Al-Qasimi. I run a boutique advisory and consulting firm out of the UAE. We do food, water, and sustainability, food, water security and sustainability, and we work at the strategic level and in the intersection between public and private engagements. Thank you.
Thank you.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. أنا عبد العزيز الحربي. My key role as a professor in King Saud University. My career has been dedicated to prototype cultivation, sustainability, and food security initiatives. I have been working, I have more than 30 years experience in this field and contributed to the founding of Istidama Center, a well-known center in Saudi Arabia. And now I am leverage my experience and my network and work as an advisor for research and innovation in MIWA and consultant in Istidama and chief scientific advisor in Saudi Agri-Food Tech Alliance, SAFTA. Thank you.
Hi, it's Jad Hashaheen. I'm a senior consultant with a company called Frost & Sullivan. It's a consulting firm that is international. I mainly tackle the food and agriculture sector within the GCC and the MENA region, tackling public and private sector, that's governmental, semi-governmental, as well as private companies that are into food and agriculture. The main focus for in my professional career is on sustainability and bridging it with efficiency in the agricultural practices.
Okay. Hello, I'm Jordi Bru. I am an agriculture engineer. I'm from Spain, from Barcelona. I spent more than 35 years in agriculture in different jobs, crop protection, crop nutrition, and now I am working in a distribution chemical company, leading a team of agronomists working in agriculture. So very happy to be here to contribute to this very interesting conference. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Dr. Isam, I'm going to go to you first, and we know that SABIC are doing a lot of research into the area of fertilizer, pesticides. So you want to improve fertilizer efficiency, reduce environmental impact, but maintain or increase yields of crops. What kind of research is happening at SABIC on that at the moment?
Okay, thank you for the question. In fact, SABIC has a wide network of technology and innovation centers. We have almost 22 centers around the world, and we are leveraging our technology and innovation to develop the new generation of fertilizers. Our product portfolio today includes enhanced efficiency fertilizers, smart fertilizers, nano fertilizers, and bio-enhanced fertilizers. Smart fertilizers, or these fertilizers, do increase the crop yield while minimizing the waste. Smart fertilizers, with their control release and slow release mechanism, they release the nutrients in response to crop needs. So you control the release of the nutrients based on the need of the plant. And that is have a positive impact on the environment. By controlling this release, or actually reducing the release of the nutrients, this makes the nutrients more available and reducing the runoff of the nutrients and the erosion of the soils. On the other hand, we have what's so-called bio-enhanced fertilizers. This is a new way to deliver nutrients to the plants by combining the biopower with our conventional fertilizers. So what we do here is that we combine biological nitrogen fixation microbes with our urea fertilizers product, so that the plant receive more nitrogen, more nutrients, and so the crop yield will be increased while the CO2 emissions is reduced.
So from a farmer's point of view and their business, how are you seeing adoption in larger farming or across the board of these, if you want to call new generations of...
Absolutely, absolutely. If you look at the controlled release fertilizers, we are the first company in the world to introduce the biodegradable controlled release. Usually controlled release are urea coated with polymers, non-degradable polymers. SABIC was the first to introduce the biodegradable polymer. So this allows the farmers, instead of re-fertilizing their farms again and again, they do it once, and that lasts for 3-4 months. You can control how long and the release pattern of the urea. We also have another product called slow release fertilizers, where we hook the nitrogen inside a long chemical chain, so that allow the nitrogen to be available to the plant for almost 12 weeks.
Thank you. Dr. Majid, I'll come to you next. At Soma Mater, you're doing your consultancy in this field for fertilizer and pesticide innovations. So what's the long-term impact of things like Dr. Issam's new generation of fertilizers, and what about the pesticide angle? What are you talking to your clients about?
Thank you very much. And it was really nice to hear that Dr. Issam mentioned, inclusion of bio technologies, whether it's rhizomes or other natural systems rather than pure chemical. At Soma, we always fall back on natural systems. We understand that soil isn't an inert material that is sitting full of nutrients for plants. Much like our gut biome, it's alive. There are microsomes, there are microorganisms that are essentially in cycle and providing nutrients to plants. So engaging with that system is really important. As you do long-term release, that's much better because you're not shocking that soil ecosystem, and it allows the plants both to utilize what you're giving in the fertilizer and the rhizomes to also adapt and provide a lot of enhancing attributes to your crop. The big challenge over the last 30 years in agriculture, when it was hyper-industrialized, was that we were essentially bypassing these natural systems and trying to force the plants to take up NPK and go straight into production. And unfortunately, that left us with soil worse off than we had before. Especially in this part of the region, what we do with our clients, we're always advising to try and build soil ecosystems, because those can continue to give back, and you can build quite a strong buffer in that. Not to mention carbon sequestration and all the other benefits that we're looking for. Ultimately, in productivity, when it comes to pesticides, again, natural systems, if you do have them, there are a lot of opportunities where a diversified crop rather than monocropping will give you certain predatory insects or birds that will take out those challenging pests. At scale, these are the challenges we have here in the region, which is how do we have agriculture at scale where we're managing pests, soil inputs, and your natural inputs like water to be able to scale things. I think the research space is where it's at, and so long as we can put those learnings from the labs into the products and respect the soil, we'll be moving in the right direction.
Thank you. Professor, from the university's point of view, what about the research advancing the use of the biofertilizers and the biopesticides and the challenges attached to that in the Saudi market? Are you investigating that as well, the capacity for farmers to adopt these new technologies?
Yeah, thank you. First, I'm personally, because since I am work for sustainability, I'm strongly supporting this bio-solution for tackling the problem facing our agriculture sector. But we have to admit that still most of the material available in the market which help us to sustain the food security, we're still using chemicals. This type of chemicals, it has some issues with the compatibility of local environment. For example, extreme heat condition here. It might affect, for example, stability and durability of this material. And also that we have a different soil ecosystem here in Saudi Arabia, for example, low organic material, low microbial conditions. So most of the material which rely on the interaction between microbe, plant, and soil may not function as it should be, okay? And also we have some regulations issues here in Saudi Arabia. For example, registration of this new material in the market, it might take time, it might be very costly sometimes. So, and also a lots of issues there. But if you go straight to the university activity in Saudi Arabia, definitely they have a lot of research work, a lot of projects with a different ratio of success, but they are mainly focusing in sustainable bio-solution, local bio-solution, and the research recently is strongly focused on this to shift toward bio-based solution that align with the environmental objectives of the Vision 2030 of Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Professor. Mr. Jad, from Frost & Sullivan's global perspective, what major trends are you seeing in the area of pesticides and fertilizers?
Yeah, thank you. So when we talk about the fertilizer and pesticide industry, we want to talk about their trends and how it's shifting towards the future. We see a huge shift towards sustainability and more green agricultural sustainable approaches. So we want to talk mainly about shift from chemical fertilizers towards biological fertilizers. And in here, we're talking about biostimulants that are extremely beneficial for the upper layer of the soil. And we were talking about the soil of Saudi Arabia. It's quite challenging in here, so therefore we need to, whenever we're applying nutritional additions to our crops, we need to apply it in an accurate way. So we provide biostimulants in order to get this nutrient more efficiently to the plants. And speaking of, we want to talk also about precision nutrition. This is the trend. Whenever we apply any type of nutritional addition or fertilizers for the plants, we need to provide it at the right time and at the right place. So this is where fertigation comes in hand. And sometimes new applications that are using IoT, Internet of Things, as an example, they use remote sensing as well as AI tools in order to get the exact amount at the exact time that the plant needs it or the crop needs it. Lastly, also one of the trends that is extremely important and people are innovating in this space is the transformation of food waste as well as farm waste into useful fertilizer for the plant. This is, I think, where the trend is happening and is taking place and taking shape.
Thank you. Mr. Brew, from Brenntag's point of view, what kind of contribution are you making to advancing these new generation fertilizers and pesticides, and what are you bringing to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, thank you. Well, as you can listen, agriculture is changing. So we are here, transformation, biologicals, microorganisms, and we as Brenntag, we are a distribution company. We are the bridge between customers and suppliers. And what we listen from customers is that the market is changing. So we need to look for new solutions, new materials. The typical urea still is important, but the future is in a different direction. So Brenntag is aware of this. We are creating a team of agronomists to understand, because it's not only about listening, it's about understanding what is happening. It's a lot of change, a lot of transformation. It's not easy. It's not easy because the new solutions needs to be efficient. It's not only about green products. We need to show efficacy. We need to help the farmers. So Brenntag, we are not selling directly to farmers. We sell raw materials for the fertilizer producers, crop protection producers. And I can tell you, they are very worried about this transformation. They need to change a lot of things. And this will take time, but this is the direction. I think it's a good direction personally, but this will be a lot of work for all of us.
So at Brenntag, how are you supporting this transformation? Are you doing education in the marketplace, or what other support are you offering?
For instance, I can share with you, we have a team, what we call sustainability team. We talked about sustainability also, my colleagues. We are looking for safer products, first objective. Second, circularity, so using byproducts to be used as fertilizers. And the third one is about CO2 footprint. In Europe, I am from Europe, they are very worried about the carbon footprint, and we, as Brenntag, we are offering a tool to our customers to calculate the CO2 footprint of all the chemicals that they are using, because this is something that will be a requirement in future. But in my opinion, the most important is to look for safer alternatives. We are looking for new solutions to formulate crop protection and fertilizers. Of course, organic, we talked about this, organic materials will be more important, are very important, but still not at the level that should be. Minerals will stay, of course. Minerals will always be there. They are supplying nutrients, and the nutrients needs to be supplied. This is essential. But the organic part, we are looking for new partners to be able to supply to our customers as, sources of biostimulants, vegetal extracts, materials that are not dangerous, with safety data, very green, with no problem for humans and for the environment. So we are working very hard in this direction.
Thank you. Mr. Jad, so you mentioned earlier about IoT, and so we kind of got that technology theme going on in your trends. What about this kind of data-driven decision-making and that value chain of technologies and optimizing crop yields? Can you expand on that a bit more, please?
Sure. So we can clearly see that there's a shift towards data-driven decision-making. So nowadays you can notice that farmers are not interested in purchasing products anymore. They are interested in purchasing decision-making tools. So this is when I discussed about IoT and sensors that are placed within the ground for farmers to use. So we can start at the research and development phase, and it's important to emphasize on research and development in large companies that are providing fertilizers as well as pesticides. So These people are professionals and they are using tools like AI, for example, in order to enhance the molecular formulation and molecular modeling of fertilizers and pesticides, and then spreading them across into their markets. Moving into the field, when we're talking about field, we're talking about data fusion. So once we gather a lot of data from the field, from these sensors, we have sensors that are that gather information on humidity, on soil composition, on temperature. Whenever we have more data, we have more tools in order to reach to our decision. So this is why data-driven solutions are much more important than the product itself, and this is where farmers are placing their money and placing their bets as well.
Thank you. Professor Abdulaziz, so we're just continuing the technology theme here. You are involved in the Saudi Agri-Food Technology Alliance. Maybe you can tell the audience a bit more about that, but what I'm most interested in is how does the alliance help to strengthen national food security? Obviously, the technology is helping optimize yields. So if you could just give us some more information on that, please.
Thank you. SAFTA, or Saudi Agri-Food Techno Alliance, is one of the initiatives of the Deputyship of Research and Innovation in the Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture. The initiative was launched last year. Within 10 days from now, we will have our first annual meetings. That means we are only 1 year there since we started. And simply, I can say that we achieved a lot in this first year. For example, we have developed 4 policy recommendations and 2 white papers, which will be presented in the annual meeting. SAFTA is a platform. It's tried to connect the people from the industry, from the academia, and from the government. This collaboration can happen through a working group. And we have already almost 5 to 6 working groups in the way as well. So simply, Saudi Agri-Food Techno Alliance is a platform, is aiming to turn innovation in implementation to build resilience, self-sufficient agri-food future for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia by bringing all the stakeholders from the industry, from the government, from the academia to work together to enhance the collaboration. And we strongly believe that the big result will come out of the collaboration between these different stakeholders. So SAFTA is a platform, is aiming to help to achieving the transformation in the Saudi agri-food sectors.
Thank you very much. So again, Dr. Majid, continuing the technological theme that we have going on here, I assume you're quite familiar with the alliance itself and probably got quite a lot of involvement there. So obviously the alliance are going to be looking at what policies are coming out. Also, we talked earlier, I said to Dr. Sam, what about capacity building for farmers of actually adopting this new generation of technologies, whether they soft technologies like bionutrients or hard technologies like IoT sensors. So where are we on that? What needs to be done?
Across the region, we have to understand that farmers around the world are the same. They're here too. They've been doing it for a long time, and it's always difficult of walking right in and saying, here's the new way. For those farmers that are actually commercially running farms, they also live and die with every harvest. So to come in and assume that they will just completely transform and take on all this new technology, which costs money, and all these new systems, which cost money, the decision-making, what Chad was saying is, that just helps them make less mistakes. But again, there's a learning curve. If you're doing things like new inputs in crops, they're not going to jeopardize their whole harvest in a single product. So one, you need to have really good demonstration farms where the product can be showcased and there can be comparisons between their way and the new way. Secondly, you do have to respect that you need champions in their own community that then become the ambassadors for them. You cannot just hit everyone essentially with a pitch and hope that they take that on. And lastly, to respect that they've been doing it for a long time. The fishermen, the farmers are the two heaviest communities that are hardest to move and have been doing it for the longest. And there's some due respect there before we go in and tell them we have all the new ways. But I think if we have the combination correctly between the demonstration farms and the ambassadorship from them, I think there will be a really fast transition. I think one other thing, I see a lot of young people here in the crowd today. The biggest challenge is the farming community is ready to retire, right? The average age for farmers is now 62, 65 globally, and young farmers are hard to find. So when we talk about farming, everybody's thinking of what the old farming looks like. Technology and young people today with everything from AI and a lot of enabled physical technology should be participating, and we should make that exciting for them so that those farms can go into a new generation's hand and create more efficiency and more capability.
I think you touched a nerve there, so I'm going to continue in this theme with you, Dr. Majid. There are, the Saudi Agricultural Development Fund, is that sort of part of this policy mix that needs to kind of take this to the next level? Or are there other organizations?
So I'm based in the UAE, and I see a lot of comparison made between the Saudi and the UAE sort of agriculture space. I was actually at dinner at Abu Dhabi Food Week with a lot of practitioners across the value chain, from grain traders and processors to good friends of mine who are organic farmers. And the challenge is, when we talk about developing agriculture and the capabilities, globally, everybody else is subsidized. And so we need to play at that level, otherwise our own market will be overcome by imported goods. And when we talk about food security, it's not that we try to grow everything in our own countries. Between Saudi and the UAE, there are a bound of challenges there. We are not going to tackle everything. But we do need redundancies. And the farmers that are doing the hard work today, they do need support. And that might be a combination of funding to help adoption, to re-educate, and yes, in some senses for inputs as well. Now, every government has to make that judgment call. I want to congratulate Saudi on the transformation they've been going through for the last 10 and something years, because we watch it, we at Soma Mater, we track it every week. We're going through all the announcements and all the achievements. And there's a lot here that the rest of the world could learn from how agriculture is scaling in such a difficult environment.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Sam, water resources, obviously, in Saudi Arabia are a challenge. What innovations at SABIC are looking at fertilizer formulations and application methods to enhance water efficiency and the sustainable farming theme that we're talking about?
We have a lot of solutions. We're talking about fertilizer solutions, and we're talking about also something like soil amendments. One of the major projects we are working today with a consortium, worldwide consortium, is trying to valorize the carbon, the black carbon coming out of as a byproduct from methane pyrolysis to generate Turkey's hydrogen. And part of the valorization is to make this solid carbon as a soil amendment that can improve the water holding capacity and the water utilization efficiency. And we have reached to a level that we can reduce water use by almost 50%, and also nutrient efficiency is improved, and plus the soil health. This is one of the solutions that we are provide. Plus, as I said earlier, our bioenhanced urea is another way of enhancing the crop yield while maintaining or reducing the harmful gas emissions, CO2 emissions, We also have other solutions that like the super absorbent polymers, which improve the water retention by absorbing and storing water up to 800 times of its weight and releasing it gradually. It's actually biodegradable, super absorbent polymer, so it degrades in the soil. And that also improves the water retention. So we have a variety of solutions and technologies and products that can help in all dimensions from this. We're talking about carbon footprint, carbon neutrality. We also working hardly to reduce the footprint of our products, the carbon emissions, the CO2 emissions, in all cycles, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, so that make our product more environmentally friendly and usable.
So we know that Saudis have got a great food tradition. So with these new technologies, what about the nutrient value? What about the flavor of those tomatoes or those crops? You know, these solutions are great for yield.
That's right.
But what's the next step for the consumer that's out there?
It's not necessarily to be our solution. Today there are many solutions like precision farming, like also hydroponic farming. Hydroponic farming, for instance, can improve and increase the crop yields 80 times compared to open field. So these solutions we are supporting, like precision farming. We have our own solutions that we deliver as technical support to our customers. We actually have a drone company which do imaging and supporting this precision farming. And by doing this, you're actually reducing the waste of resources and increasing the crop yield. So this is the way where I think the agriculture farming is going, where we try to balance between utilization or use of resources and increasing the crop yield to meet the demand and the growing of the populations.
So, Dr. Majid, in terms of demand, this whole sustainability theme and the technologies behind it, do you have an opinion on flavor, on nutritional value of the food? Because I saw you nodding your head.
Yeah, thank you. I do actually. One of the largest challenges we face in this part of the world, aside from a challenge of producing enough food, is actually that there is a lot of food waste as well. Now, how does this come into flavor? There is this thing that you know, the GCC hospitality is renowned, and everybody is to be made welcome. And it's a difficult cultural juxtaposition. Not too long ago, if I ask my grandmother what it was like in Sharjah, where I'm from, in the UAE, how they used to eat. They used to have a glass of camel's milk in the morning. You went and you got a single fish from the fishermen on the coast. In the evening, you had some dates and camel milk as well. It was a very meager way of life. And today we have, alhamdulillah, from imports to quality and everything. The interesting thing is, if you hold back water for certain crops, the stress that creates for the plant creates a juicier and a more flavorful fruit, because there is the plant trying to store all its energy and its value in the crop you're about to harvest. More isn't always the answer. And when I think about taste, some of the wild fruits and herbs that you find are so potent when you harvest them, simply because they're living in a very difficult environment. I think yield is, from a security standpoint, something very important. But ultimately, when the consumer is at the table, I'll tell you, I've had enough hydroponic tomatoes that don't taste anywhere near as good as something that might have been grown in a field that is struggling and stressed, because it becomes a more potent produce, basically. Sorry, thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I'd just like everybody in the audience to please thank our experts here on stage. Please give them a big round of applause. That was very, very enlightening, that session. Thank you. And if I could invite you up to the middle of the stage, please, for a photograph and a trophy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James, for the wonderful session. Now I'm pleased to introduce a very insightful case study presented by Mr. Richard Leonard Waldebrecht, CEO of Cravo Equipment, a renowned Canadian agri-tech company. Mr. Richard will speak about strategies for exploiting Saudi Arabia's climate advantages and extending the natural growing seasons of outdoor crops, while reducing irrigation water requirements by over 50%. This is a truly fascinating and highly technical topic that highlights innovative approaches to sustainable agriculture in arid regions. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming on stage Mr. Richard Leonard Waldebrecht.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction and for the opportunity to share some of my over 40 years of experience in managing climates. And what I want to talk to you today about is strategies to take advantage of the KSA climate and solving the major challenges that growers face on a day-to-day basis. The first thing is to acknowledge that the advantages that you do have in Saudi Arabia. High light conditions, minimal challenges with cold temperatures, many hours of optimal temperatures, especially through the late fall, winter, and early spring season. You've got lots of land, and you have high and low elevations, which allow you to create different microclimates. But the challenges are excessive heat, low humidity, dust, hail, strong winds, and from a resource point of view, water, electricity, and expertise on managing high-tech solutions. So when excessive heat, wind, and frost limit how long your crop's being grown in the open field, and water efficiency becomes very low as the heat arrives. And when you convert from open field into greenhouses, greenhouses can extend your season, but the pad and fan cooling systems can consume over 100 cubic meters of water per day per hectare and 1,000 kilowatt hours of electricity per day. And in KSA, you have some of the most expensive water in the world because it all has to be treated. So how can you easily exploit the advantages while solving the climate challenges? That is by combining the natural advantages of your climate, but then also protecting crops automatically using motorized retractable cooling roofs. And so this video is just going to show you an example of some different automatic retractable roof houses that allow you to grow crops outside but close a roof. And so for example, here we're closing 1 hectare of roof in 6 minutes using 1 motor. And we can protect from hard rain, hail, strong winds. Roof coverings typically last 8 to 12 years and increases your water efficiency somewhere between 50 and 80%. If you incorporate stationary or retractable insect net, you will then have the advantages of a net house for insect control and for buffering the climate, and then a retractable roof over top of that to help manage your light levels, your humidity, your temperatures, and the impact of a hard rain. By incorporating multiple layers of retractable roofs, you can now create even more sophisticated levels of control for some of the higher value specialty crops. So for crops that require day length control, we have retractable roofs, cooling curtains, insect net, or even blackout for controlling the day length. When you incorporate multiple layers, you can create massive ventilation, because part of the challenge is when you build greenhouses in Saudi Arabia, the greenhouse roof is actually making it hotter than it is outside, which means now the cooling system has to work even harder, and so you're consuming more electricity and more water. And so here you can see with the red arrows how when you close roofs in opposite directions, you are no longer trapping the heat inside, but you're still having lots of airflow and cooling without exposing the plants to direct sunlight. When you do houses like this, you can build massive facilities without pad and fan cooling. So this is a 5-hectare project with no cooling pads or no fans, and all different layers of retractable roofs to create different climates. And so from a uniformity point of view, when you're able to build larger facilities, you now make it easier to manage the climate, manage the labor, and harvest the crops, because you don't create all these separate facilities. If you add a high-pressure fogging system inside, now you're managing the light levels and the sun radiation using the roofs, and then using the high-pressure fogging system to help increase humidity and cool the environment inside. So these types of facilities can be used for vegetable crops, lettuce crops, berries, blueberries, nursery crops, flowers. So when you're in the KSA area, you can do a wide variety of crops, because part of the challenge is when you're building a new facility, you have to think about what is the economic environment going to be like 5 years from now. And so if you can grow multiple different crops, you're able to react to changes in market conditions. This video, I hope the audio works. I was in a project in Mexico where they're growing blueberries in plus 40-degree temperatures. And it just gives you a bit of an idea as to some of the climate and benefits of having a retractable roof. I'm going to talk to you about some of the operational benefits of growing blueberries in a retractable flat roof house. So first of all, this house is 6 meters tall, so this particular model is designed for hot climates, where cooling is really important, or nighttime cold protection. So if your nighttime temperatures get cold, you can close the plastic roof in order to keep it warmer. But the roof itself is, in this particular case, is a white cooling roof that is designed to reduce the heat that's coming through the plastic and reaching the plants. So there's a couple of key operational benefits to this house design. So first of all, it's 6 meters tall. And you can see here that the walls are solid closed, which means there's minimal entrance of thrip and whitefly, because thrip and whitefly tend to fly 1 to 2 meters above the ground. And when you have a 6 meter tall wall, you are going to reduce the entry. Now this particular building is 2.8 hectares in size. It could be 10 or 20 hectares in size. And the bigger it is, the less sidewall area exposure you have for insects to enter. And so they have very low pressure of thrip here and minimal pressure of whitefly. Because thrip is such a big pest with blueberries, having the ability to reduce the thrip pressure can allow you to produce some of the varieties that maybe have really good size, yield, flavor, firmness, but are more susceptible to thrip damage. The second benefit of a retractable cooling house is in the open field, they are using approximately 20,000 liters of water per hectare per day. And here they're using approximately 8,000 liters instead of 20. So that's about a 60% reduction in the water consumption per hectare to grow blueberries. Now the yield in here, because they're able to use the retractable roof to extend the season, they will be getting at least 25% more yield per plant. And if you combine the 25% increase in yield per plant with the 60% reduction in water, they are using approximately 68% less water per harvested kilo compared to an open field. Now, the advantage of having a retractable roof in comparison to a hail net or tunnel or open field is the fact that you can actually manage the environment. So growers are experts on managing irrigation, but the earliness of the harvest, the length of the harvest season, the size of the fruit, the number of flowers is all controlled by the climate. And so when you are using a retractable cooling house like this, if we go over here, you can see that there is approximately a 15% opening in the roof here. And if I measure the leaf temperature here, it's about 37 degrees Celsius. If I go here under the cooling roof, I'm 31 degrees. So if I want to warm up the plant, I can simply retract the roof to get more sunlight on the plant. Now, for those of you that are concerned about your nighttime temperatures, when you are in a more desert-type climate where you have high sun radiation, by retracting the roof in the daytime, when your temperatures are optimal, you're actually accumulating more heat in the soil and in the pots. So to give an example, if we measure the ground cloth in direct sunlight, it's 68 degrees Celsius. When I move from 69 in the sun under the retractable cooling roof, I'm dropping to 38 Celsius. So if you're concerned about trying to hold warmer temperatures in the winter, retracting the roof and getting the earth to act as a heat sink is going to build up the heat in the soil. So when you close the roof at night, the ground will slowly be releasing heat to keep the air temperature warmer than it would be outside. When you start looking at your water efficiency per kilo harvested, you'll get more kilos if you're managing the environment and simultaneously using less water. So when you look at how many liters are you using per harvested kilo, that's the ultimate measurement for your efficiency. It's not just how much are you applying per day, it's what are you actually producing. And when you start looking at different types of cooling systems, a pad and fan cooling system could use up to 160 liters per harvested kilo, whereas when you're using a cooling roof in combination with a high pressure fog, you're down to around 15. And because of the high cost of water here, the water and electricity could equal 30 to 50% of your selling price per kilo. So when you're trying to figure out how to produce long term, understand where those costs are going. So I'd like to thank you for the opportunity, and if you have questions, we are at the show, and I can answer further questions at that time. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Richard, for the insightful speech. May we now invite you in the middle of the stage so we can present the trophy. Thank you. Now we're moving on to the next panel discussion. May we now call on Dr. James Morgan to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tracy. I'm going to move straight along because I know we're a few minutes behind schedule. So I'm going to invite the panelists up to the stage. They're our lovely expert team up there. So please come up and take a seat underneath your name. Thank you very much. So first will be Mr. Hosni here, and so on and so forth. Thank you. Yeah, there, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Okay. Let's take our seats. And what I'd like to ask you to do is, we're missing Samantha Tulukda. Oh, so you're sitting here, please, Sumanta. Thank you. Okay, so just to start the panel off, what I'm going to do is ask you to get close within a couple of centimeters of the microphone so that we have a clear voice recording of you for the YouTube video and the live stream from the ministry. And if you could give us a quick moment on who you are, which company you're from. Thank you very much.
Should we start? Yeah. So, hello everyone. My name is Sharif Hosni, but first, maybe before answering who I am, a quick question to the audience. So, who here likes food, with a show of hands? Anyone like food? Good. So, yeah, I really love food, and all my experience has actually been in the food industry. So, starting off with food packaging, processing, moving on to branding, and then food manufacturing. And then I moved to urban farming, and now I'm in Saudi Arabia working on controlled environment agriculture and vertical farming. I'm the CEO of Mishkat, and happy to be on the panel.
Hello, I'm Michael Rougier, the CEO and founder of Airponics. Good to be back here in Saudi Arabia. My background's more radical disruptive technology. I was with Shell International for 24 years, and now I'm in the food industry coming up with radical innovation to help grow food crops sustainably.
Hi everyone. My name is Sumanta. I'm the founder and CEO of Garden. We're a UK-based startup. We're based in Oxford. We make a robotic sensor that measures photosynthesis. I don't actually come from an ag background. My background is physics. Garden is my second startup. My previous startup was acquired for over $500 million by a big American company.
My name is Godfrey Dole. I'm Director of Operations at Van der Hoeven Glasshouses. I'm managing two facilities at Neom in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia, in Tabuk and Oxagon. Coincidentally, I started my career in agriculture 40 years ago in Tabuk, and since then I've worked and managed high-tech operations, glasshouses, in 10 different countries around various parts of the world. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so my name is Jessie Matar. I work with SIA Partners. I have a dual role as a SME and senior manager. So I'm working within the water, agriculture and environmental. I lead the practice in the GCC, mainly in Saudi Arabia. And I have a background of food process engineering with microbiology. My PhD is about creating biofuels from yeast, which is also very hard to manipulate microorganism, and I'm very glad to be here.
I'm sorry, I think we've got a microphone glitch there. Could we have a handheld for the gentleman at the end of the panel, please? I think we've got a slight technical problem there. Thank you. Our sound guy is on his way.
Sorry, this is Shami Mohammed. I'm working as the assistant professor in the Department of Biological and Agricultural Engineering at the University of California, Davis. My lab mostly work on the food, energy nexus for control environment act, like greenhouse, indoor vertical farming. We work on precision control and monitoring for energy, water, and nutrient optimizations, and also integrate the renewable energy system to reduce the carbon footprint to achieve the target for net zero indoor food production or the net carbon or carbon neutral food production for control environment ag.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to kick it off, and we're going to be talking about traditional precision agriculture and urban and vertical farming, and this kind of transition point. So what's happening in the future? How's this going to develop for the agricultural sector?
So I think the urban farming is what got us actually interested in. We had a project, we installed 500 small urban farms in Cairo, on the rooftops of Cairo. And from there, we started gathering a lot of data from every farm, and we noticed that we have differences between the different growers. And just from collecting the data, we ended up with huge amounts of data. And then we said, okay, like, what do we do with this data? Why do we have differences between the different farms?